Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking into something that might surprise you. Could red meat actually be a superfood?
Hmm. It's definitely a bold statement, especially with all the common beliefs about red meat's, impact on our health.
Yeah, exactly. So
Mm.
to really get into this, we should probably compare red meat to, well, something that is often seen as like the ultimate healthy food,
Yeah.
greens.
And greens are definitely packed with valuable vitamins and minerals, but red meat also has a pretty impressive nutritional profile too. Things like B vitamins,
Hmm.
fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K, plus all those essential minerals, iron, selenium, zinc.
Yeah, it's interesting when you look at both sides, you know,
Yeah.
especially when you think about how important protein is in our diets. Red meat being, such a good source of protein triggers the release of this hormone called glucagon.
And that hormone plays a really important role in keeping our blood sugar stable, right? Which is key for maintaining those consistent energy levels throughout the day.
For sure. So that brings us to this really interesting concept called the protein leverage hypothesis.
Yeah, this theory suggests that humans are kind of biologically driven to eat enough protein. And if we don't get enough from high quality sources, we end up feeling unsatisfied and, well, overeating,
Hmm.
which is often why we turn to those processed foods that are low in protein but loaded with calories and unhealthy
I
fats.
see. So if our bodies really do prioritize protein, then constantly getting enough protein could actually help us manage, how much we eat overall.
Absolutely. It helps us make healthier choices. And that's especially relevant today with, processed foods being so readily available and heavily marketed everywhere we turn.
Right. And some people might worry that all that protein leads to, weight gain because it stimulates insulin production.
Right, right. But it's important to remember that protein also triggers the release of glucagon at the same time. Yeah, so it balances out the effects of insulin, which prevents those, drastic blood sugar spikes and crashes that can lead to weight gain and other metabolic issues.
Okay, so we've established that protein is really important and that red meat is a great source of it. But what about the differences between red meat and white meat? Are they like nutritionally interchangeable?
Not exactly. The red color in red meat comes from a protein called myoglobin. It helps deliver oxygen throughout the muscle tissue, and it also contains a higher concentration of iron compared to white meat.
So that difference in iron content would make red meat really beneficial for people with anemia, right?
Right. And athletes too, anyone who needs, optimal oxygen delivery for peak performance.
That makes sense. So let's shift gears a little bit and talk about how cows and sheep and goats, those ruminant animals, how they get their nutrition from grass. I mean, they can't actually digest the fiber in grass directly, can they?
Nope. They can't. They rely on this incredible symbiotic relationship with their gut microbiome. Basically, trillions of microorganisms living in their digestive systems doing all the work.
That's really amazing. They break down that fiber, convert it into nutrients the animals can absorb.
Mhm.
So the nutritional power of red meat is kind of a testament to that whole interplay between the animals and their gut microbes.
Exactly. And another thing about red meat is the thermogenic effect of protein. It takes more energy for our bodies to, digest and process protein compared to fats or carbs.
So a diet with lots of protein, like one that includes red meat, could actually help us burn more calories.
It can contribute to a higher metabolic rate, yeah.
Interesting. But, we also have to acknowledge the whole um, ongoing debate about red meat and its, possible connection to certain health risks.
Yeah. The World Health Organization has pointed out a potential link between eating a lot of processed red meat and a higher risk of some cancers. But it's really important to remember the difference between processed meat, which often has all those added chemicals and preservatives, and an unprocessed natural red meat.
Right. That's a really important distinction. And it brings up an interesting counter argument. Some experts are, well, they're challenging that whole idea that red meat is bad.
Yeah.
They say there isn't enough solid evidence to directly link it to negative health outcomes. They think it's more about our overall dietary patterns rather than just singling out specific foods. It seems like, we've been conditioned to be afraid of red meat, but the evidence for how nutritious it is, it's pretty strong.
It really is. I think it's super important to look at dietary information critically, and consider all the different perspectives out there. Nutritional science is always evolving, right? What we thought was true yesterday might be challenged by new research tomorrow.
That's true. So Where does all this leave us?
Right.
We talked about how nutrient-rich red meat is, how it helps keep our blood sugar stable, the importance of protein, and that fascinating relationship between animals and their gut microbiome.
Hmm.
And of course, we touched on those controversies surrounding red meat and how crucial it is to differentiate between the processed
Yeah.
stuff and the unprocessed natural kind.
Exactly. And it's not about saying, everyone should eat only red meat. It's more about encouraging a balanced approach to nutrition, understanding, the potential benefits and drawbacks of different foods helps us make informed choices that work for our individual needs and preferences.
It's about having the knowledge to make choices that align with our health goals.
Right. And sometimes that might mean challenging those beliefs we've held on to for a long time, being open to new ideas, even if they seem a bit counterintuitive at first.
This deep dive has definitely given me a lot to think about, and I hope it's done the same for you listening. Before we wrap up, there's one more um, intriguing aspect I'd like to bring up, the historical and cultural significance of eating red meat.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For centuries, red meat has been a real dietary staple in so many cultures around the world. It's often seen as a symbol of, strength, prosperity, and it even has a ritualistic meaning in some places.
Hmm. Thinking about those deeply ingrained cultural connections could give us some valuable insights into how we view red meat today, couldn't it?
Definitely. It's this fascinating intersection of biology, culture, and psychology. How do these historical and cultural factors actually shape our choices about food and what we believe about it?
That's a really good question, one that maybe deserves its own deep dive. What do you think?
I'd love to explore that further. It's a topic full of nuance and complexity.
And for our listeners who want to keep learning more about health and nutrition, we encourage you to subscribe to our channel, Health Facts. We've got lots of thought-provoking insights and evidence-based information to help you on your journey to optimal well-being.
We'll be back soon with another deep dive into fascinating facts and evidence-based information. Until then, stay curious and don't be afraid to question conventional wisdom.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you next time. It's really amazing when you think about it, how much our understanding of food can change.
No, absolutely. Something that was once considered like a dietary villain can actually become a valuable source of nutrition, all because of new research and a more nuanced understanding of nutrition. Red meat's a perfect example of that.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what other commonly held beliefs about food might be challenged down the road.
It really does. The field of nutrition is full of surprises. Who knows what kind of fascinating discoveries are waiting for us, right?
Exactly. Well, for our listeners who want to keep learning more about health and nutrition, we encourage you to subscribe to our channel, Health Facts. We've got tons of thought-provoking insights and evidence-based information there to help you on your journey to optimal well-being.
Yeah, we'll be back soon with another deep dive into some more fascinating facts and evidence-based information. Until then, stay curious and don't be afraid to question the conventional wisdom.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of red meat. We'll see you next time.